estate gets real.
I'm Rachel Davis.
And I'm Kate Baldwin.
I can never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Coach told me I can never miss.
Hey, Baddies. Do us a favor. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, ring the bell, and drop us a comment, because REI Baddies is where real people do real estate.
Hi, I'm Kate Baldwin, and I'm joined by my partner in all creative finance and chaos, Rachel Davis. Together, we bring unfiltered stories of investors, and they're making real moves and learning lessons and bringing wealth in ways to inspire all of us.
And today's guests are some of my favorite people. It's a powerhouse duo, Robert Szigeti and Trevor Hicks. They have built their reputation as fix and flippers, and now they're charging into the future with, I swear everyone, there will be an episode later that is not on co-living next week, but they are also doing
co-living. Everyone's going to be like, is this co-living?
No, we are interviewing other people, but they are currently trying to get into co-living projects in Central Florida and right in my backyard.
I know, and it's kind of funny because everything's been Florida too, so it's like Florida co-living. So well, I don't know if that just happened by mistake, but
well, I'm trying to bring him up here to Charlotte, so
yeah. All right. Well, there is proof but this is going to show everyone that there is proof that in collaborating with others, instead of competing with others, this it will level you up to something that is beyond what you can even comprehend. And this is what these two gentlemen have done. They have taken the time to get to know each other, find out what each person offers each other, and they have really created this dynamic, amazing team of fix and flippers. And so this one's going to be packed up with lessons and lots of laughs always, and mindset shifts. So the raw truth about what's happening in today's market.
Welcome, boys.
Hey.
Thank you, ladies.
Our intro okay? You guys okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Robert, I want you to set the tone with the breathing.
I know, right?
Yeah. He's a man with that.
Tone with the breathing. I was like, I live vicariously through Robert this morning. As I drank my coffee and looking at my phone, I'm like, okay, breathe. Okay, I breath.
Awesome. So aside from getting wildly off track from the beginning, guys, tell us about how you guys met and did your first deal together, because that's what this podcast is all about.
I like to call it divine intervention.
Yeah, hey, whatever you call it, that works.
Robert, without going too deep right off the bat, Robert came into my life. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God,
so
I'm sweet already.
Yeah. We built a friendship. We built a partnership, a family, honestly. But yeah, I was a full-time W-2 worker this time last year. Wow. It was just prior to this time last year. I was doing some transactional lending on the side and had reached out to somebody on Facebook about, funds that I thought they needed, and based on a post in, one of our groups. And she responded back, no, I don't need funding. I need somebody to buy my mother-in-law's house. She just went through a nasty divorce. She just needs to sell it quick. And I was like, oh, shoot. I'm supposed to know what to do with this, right? I'm getting into this real estate investing thing. I should know what I should say. And luckily it was through Facebook Messenger. So I kind of had some back and forth. It wasn't direct to seller call yet. Went through some negotiations over like a month and a half, and honestly kind of was really slow with my responses. And luckily she was more persistent than I was, and finally kind of negotiated her down and got her to, just above what I had anchored her at. And then I was like, oh crap, what do I do with this deal? Like, I do transactional funds for wholesalers or for fix and flippers. I need to go find somebody to buy this house. Like, I know nothing about wholesaling, dispo, anything. I knew I could negotiate. So I reached out to my network, which was all of one person up in the area where this property was, and said, hey, you're going to be my buyer, right? You said, if I ever have a property, in your area, you'd buy this. And she's like, yeah, that's slightly outside of my area. That's in Palm Coast, a little south of me. She's in Jacksonville. But I have this great guy who does fix and flip there. If this fits his buy box, he'll definitely buy it. And I'm like, okay, great. Robert and I got on a call, and immediately that night, hit it off. And I remember ending the call being like, so is this something that you would consider buying from me? If so, I'm about to get this under contract. And he's like, yeah, I could do one of two things. Either I'm your buyer or we could partner on this deal. And I was like, what does that entail? And he's like, well, I do fix and flip. I have a property right around the corner that I'm finishing up right now. This could be our next project together. You're negotiating a great price, get it under contract like tomorrow. And I'm one of those two, like definitely get it under contract. That's a great deal. And I thought about it, and my wife and I have always watched, the fix and flip shows. We've always been into real estate, Zillow from My Pillow, all that fun stuff. But I was like, oh, something's different about this guy. And I immediately was like, I want to partner with this on you. I had a good W-2. So I'm like, what's the risk? Like I'm have income coming in. He says he's going to manage all the things on the ground. It's an opportunity to make a new relationship. I'm all about that. And yeah, the first flip went great. And we've moved on since then to do many, many more. So
I have a follow-up question for Robert.
Tell me.
So we've heard it now from Trevor's perspective. And Trevor was more in line to talk about this even on thinking outside the bank. I'm not going to mess that podcast up again. But you, Robert, like what mindset let you be like, I had a phone call with this dude and I'm going to invite him to JV on a project. Like you didn't know this guy from anything. Like walk me through how you got there. And because clearly it worked.
I mean, like when he said the price, I couldn't believe it because it was already a good price. And he's like, he wasn't like, he was hesitant. He's like, really? I said, yeah, let's lock it up, put it on the contract. And he did. But I don't like it just, yeah, I was looking for a partner, right? Like, and it was how he approached me, how we got on the phone. It just made sense. I don't know. Like you kind of have a gut feeling, right? Like when you and it was just like that. And I went for it and like, why not? Like, that's my thing is like, why not? Like the deal is already good. And Trevor was like, yeah, I don't know. It just hit me.
The cherry on top.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
And I think that's a very, but you kind of got into this in 2001, right? So you kind of
2021.
21.
Yeah.
Right. That's when you first saw Pace. You saw it, big pockets. You
it's 2022, 2021 when I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Everybody knows that book, right? And then it's like 2 weeks. Yeah, and 2 weeks later I got the first property. So that's how it hit me, like big time. And yeah, I started fix and flip, and then I kept holding properties, did BRRRR, as the interest rate were lower. But then I hit the plateau because like what I can do, and then I came across Pace, and that's when I joined in 2022.
So you guys have had how many deals together in the past year?
Well, now we are I think we are on the 7th right now.
7. You guys
something
had
like that. Something like that. Yeah. 6,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
7 in a year is pretty incredible, especially in a new JV relationship.
Yeah.
One of those ended the end of last year, and we didn't have anything going into the beginning of this year. So the most of that is like January. The one we just talked about was end of last year, and then I lost my job in the middle of that fix and flip. I lost my W-2. So I was like thankful that we had this great deal waiting for it to close, and I had just had surgery, so it was like, wow, I'll put a lot of faith in this one deal. But when that closed, it closed on December 30th, right before the end of the year.
Right after the year.
We closed, got a great paycheck before the end of the year, but my health insurance benefits were running out. All of my stipend from work that I just got let go of was running out. It's like, what do I do? And I remember he approached me and was like, my goal next year is to do 8 to 12 of these, but I can't do it alone. I really, I got into this to find a partner, and I didn't know that. Like ultimately, again, for the whole thing, I'm like, I was trying to prove my worth. And I remember even meeting one of our now friends and partners, Ann McNamara, up in a meetup that he did in his other seller finance property that he was acquiring around the same time without me, or before me, I shouldn't say. And she was like, what do you bring to the partnership? And I remember, if you've met Ann, she's got a strong accent. She's no bullshit. She comes straight at you. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I bring.
I don't know what I bring to the table.
This great deal. It was a great deal. Robert could have, in Ann's words, and truly in Ann fashion, he could have bet me over the barrel and been like, I'm going to pay you $5,000 for this deal. I was like, great. When do you send me the $5,000? Like, great. And I would have been thrilled. And my life would have been totally different than it is right now. I would not be here with you four. He could have easily been like, yeah, I'll pay a wholesale fee. He could have played it cool, but he was like, no, this is a great deal, man. Congratulations. How did you get under contract? He genuinely wanted to know and wanted to be my friend and my partner versus just being like, oh, cool. Yeah, that's not bad. You know, I can maybe pay you, you know, $5,000 over that. I would have been thrilled because I had no idea. I had no idea. I knew how to negotiate. I knew transactional funding, and that was about the extent of it. I knew I thought I knew I wanted to get ready.
You've been an entrepreneur. You've always run, like, you had your photography, you had your W2, you have your family, and he saw the value in you. And I think that leads us to, like, you know, at the end of the day, that's why this community is so strong. I really, truly believe we're constantly, whether you're in SubTo, whether you're in Gator, whether you're Owners Club, everyone is really out there to help another person. It's about value. It's not necessarily like, you know, what I bring to the table in this relationship with REI Baddies, what Rachel brings to this relationship. It was, like you said, a match made in heaven for us because we're so unique, but we bring such a different, but that's also, I mean, JVing is such a huge thing in this community. Something that we've talked about multiple times on multiple podcasts.
I'm laughing, Kate, because I'm not going to lie to you. We interviewed Anne for next week's episode, and I'm terrified she's going to look at me and say, "Hey, Rachel, what do you bring to REI Baddies?" We're going to have a repeat.
Well, be prepared with your answer. Be prepared with your answer, because
I know. Wait. We probably should figure out what we're going to talk about, because it's probably going to be interviewed by her instead of us interviewing her.
She's freaking awesome. Later, but... We just got off of a Zoom with her. She's unbelievable. She's a powerhouse.
She's a badass. She's a baddie.
Yes.
She's probably going to be like a number one. Yeah, she's definitely an REI baddie for sure. I know I was able to kind of dissect her a little, you know, just kind of everything. She's, you know, been military and just everything. I didn't realize that about her.
So boys, and true to Rachel REI Baddie style, I'm going to try to get us back on track. I have a question for you guys. So you've done like 7 or 8 fix and flips. What happens, like, or give us an example, because we've talked about this with other guests, that everyone likes to throw the highlight reel, but at the end of the day, people are who they are when they're up against the wall. So I would like to know an instance where either a budget has blown up, contractors ghosted you. Like, what's your process for getting a deal back on track?
You know, it's funny. I asked this for Robert, and he said, well, I haven't had any issues. And I was like, well, figure something out.
You know, not major issues, you know, like I wouldn't say we had major issues. Of course, every flip, we have some, you know, issues. That is never, oh, it's just glamour and glory, right? Like everything, it's fine. Of course, we went over budget. Like that's part of the game. And as I mentioned, like we have a SubTo deal we currently own in, and we can move it, you know, like but we get into it together, and we kind of like,
why don't you go into what does that mean? You have a SubTo deal and you can't get rid of it. What does that mean?
Tell us that story. Maybe someone will want to buy it that's listening.
Yes, come on. Tell us the address. What's going on with this property?
Trevor, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll share it. And Rachel will be interested, because it is, we bought a deal SubTo to a VA loan at 3.99%. We are all about relationships and partnering with people and building up that base. I'm much more the direct to seller. He's much more the direct to agent, and he had built a relationship with 2 different agents. One of them was actually of a digital bandit sign that I put up on Facebook Marketplace, and I got a ton of agents in Palm Coast reaching out, and we went and sat down, you know, back to back. Actually, one of them drove down from Jacksonville, the other one was in Palm Coast, and the first one we met with brought us our first novation. The second one we met with actually brought us this SubTo deal. She brought us that one in. She brought us another one. The first one we looked at was like a 7.5% interest rate. It didn't cash flow. It wasn't in a great area. And we were like, we're sorry, we'd love to help, but no. Second one was about 45 minutes between Robert and I out in Eustis. It's north of Orlando, and the seller was in a bad place. It's actually the same seller from the previous one. It was a VA veteran that had been living down here in Florida, had been stationed down here in Florida. She actually bought this as a homestead, and then she moved out, and she bought the other one out in Jacksonville. She immediately went to renting this out because homestead exemption, PITI was lower. She rented it out. She was cash flowing. Homestead exemption took place. She now was no longer cash flowing. She was negative, and she went through that for a few months, had some pretty problem tenants. She had not seen the property, but was advertising it. They had listed it on the market. And that second agent actually called this expired listing and talked to her and was like, hey, what's going on? You know, and she explained the situation. She said, actually, I just met with these investors. They might be able to help us. We jumped on a Zoom just like this. We explained to her how we thought we could help her. We underwrote it. And our thought was, this was around February of this year. We said, let's get it under contract. Let's make sure this works. Let's start to advertise it. And we'll just, you know, if we don't keep it, we'll wholesale this. We actually went to Squad Up with the sole intention. That was our number one intention this year, was connect with people doing dispo and dispo this deal. We had lots of interest, little to no follow-up. One wholesaler brought it back and was like, I have a buyer for you. You know, you guys aren't going to make a great fee. And their number one request is we need a 60-day extension to close. We had essentially already given this seller, you know, our word of like, hey, she's like, I can't afford to make another mortgage payment. If this deal is going to go through, this is my last hope. Otherwise, you know, I can't keep making mortgage payments. And we basically gave her our word. It was like, hey, we got this under contract. We'll either buy this, or we're, you know, we have been transparent before. Like, we are going to find someone who will move into this. And at that point, we were like, we know she doesn't have 60 more days, and covering the PITI for 2 more months would have essentially eliminated our wholesale fee. It wasn't much because we were splitting like 15K with the wholesaler and an agent and all these things. So we said, you know what, we're just going to take this down ourselves. We're going to buy this. We'll hold it. We're going to do a bunch of fix and flips this year. We'll need the cash benefits, or excuse me, the tax benefits. And yeah, so we ended up closing on that, I believe, in May. And we've had it ever since. Originally, we started advertising it ourselves. We put it for sale by owner on Zillow. We put it all over Facebook Marketplace. We did Facebook ads. We did Craigslist. And we've gotten a lot of people who are like, yeah, I'm interested. We'll go show it to them, and have really had no movement on it. Ultimately to where we actually just listed it with an agent that's in SubTo, understands creative a little bit more, getting some traction, trying to help either lease option or wrap this to an end buyer.
Awesome. I'm glad you guys decided to end up going with an agent. I know that is sometimes a tough one to bite that bullet. What were you going to say, Kate?
The agent thing, and I think that this is kind of what you said in between about when you basically, can you kind of go into detail? Because I'm a realtor here in the Florida Keys. And I think that educating realtors, back in October, the first time that I ever even knew about wholesaling creative financing was I had went to a summit in Miami. Because Ryan from the $1 Million Listing was there, I assumed that this was related to real estate. It changed my life. With that said, you know, there's a lot of talk in the community about the negativity of realtors. Instead of being, I personally am not a negative person, so I like to live in the positive. So if I see that there's an issue, I want to make sure that instead of putting out negative vibes, I want to put out good vibes. I want to make sure that I'm educating these agents, because it's not really their fault that they don't understand this. It's not necessarily something that they need to know. I mean, there's no need for us to know that. I mean, now that I'm in this and the world's changing, creative financing is becoming way more popular. You mentioned about you contacted all these agents, right? And did you sit them down in a room or Zoom with them? I mean, did I hear that correctly? Did you call the agents and say, like, this is what we're doing? Like,
yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, you heard that right. Robert calls a lot of on-market properties, and if you listen to any of Pace's stuff, especially No One Left Behind Challenge, you know, how he approaches agents, it's not always about the deal. It's about the relationship. It's about explaining, and honestly, a lot of it is frustration. I know Rachel, I've seen a lot of her social media. You'll attest to this. There's a lot of what I'll say when the negativity comes around. I feel there's a lot of closed-minded people, and it's tough to break people out of their box of what they already understand and what they're comfortable with. I have family who's realtors, luckily much more open-minded to investors, to these kinds of things of wanting to learn, wanting to understand, wanting to grow. But a lot of those don't. They're set in their ways. They do retail. They, you know, work with first-time home buyers or people relocating or whatever. They've got their niche, and that's it. Head down. That's okay. I can appreciate that. But a lot of it is negative of like, getting onto us as an investor of trying to steal your equity, trying to lowball people, trying to do this, trying to take advantage of people. And don't get me wrong, there's bad apples in every different
everywhere.
profession.
Bad agents.
But correct. And that's where it's like, just be willing to open your eyes a little bit that there are other solutions. Just because you don't know about it, just because you don't know everything that the world has to offer, and things are changing with technology these days, you know, a mile a minute. Just be open to hearing us out and being like, and there are so many scams though too. That makes it tough.
It makes it tough, but by opening the door and allowing other agents to see what you're doing instead of just yelling about not being able to talk to an agent, instead of that,
just yell about not being able to talk to an agent. I feel more.
I know, and I'm not pointing the finger at you. And this is, we can just agree to disagree on some things. And I've trained her. I'm trying to teach her to be a little bit more subtle with the agents. I think that what we owe the agents in this community is not necessarily like negative feedback, but just small bits and pieces of how we can benefit the agent's life, not in the sense that, hey, we're still going to sell your house, we're still going to get you paid, we're still going to, in your buyer or your seller, I mean, your seller is going to be happy. So thinking outside the box. So when we do these ads and we do these like videos, we need to encourage other agents to get involved instead of by telling them the perks of what advantages you're bringing to the table. So that's just a little feedback from the agent's perspective, just because I am, because I mean, I was totally close-minded and I'm a pretty well-rounded, smart person. I did some insane marketing back in the day. People didn't even understand. I mean, how I used to cold call, and everyone would be like, "Oh my God, you're amazing! Like, how did you know that?" And I still didn't know about creative financing. Obviously, I've opened the door, and I think that's a duty of mine is to get that information out there. But it only benefits all of us.
I would like to add a little bit too, like, yeah, because I've been calling agents, and like I'm like, imagine, like, because I'm also a Florida leader here, and a lot of people just coming in, newbies, right? And they just bump, you know, like they call an agent, oh, we want to do this and this and this creative. Like, no, like we need to find out what's really going on, right? Like build a relation, build a conversation with an agent. I never open and say, hey, this is going to be a SubTo deal. No, I never open a conversation. Like, I want to, you know, and everybody's like, oh, the agent was mad. I said, yeah, like, tell me a little bit more about it. What happened? Or how was the conversation, you know, went or sideways? What was the problem? And people just don't know. Like, I said, well, you know, I immediately said, oh, you open up like that. Like, have that conversation and find out from an agent, like, okay, what is really going on with the property? Let us kind of dig a little bit deeper. And I'm always kind of like going in a nice way. And like, I had very, very few conversations when it went south. But I don't even want to work with those agents, right? I don't want to work with those agents.
Yeah, well, you don't want to work with agents that are not willing to have a conversation with you. But what you're going in as is you're asking them, like, you're letting them talk. You're asking them, you know, letting them ask you questions, and Absolutely. You're bringing value, right?
Exactly. So. I'm always looking for how much value I'm going to bring in and what I can do for them. It's sitting on. I'm going after on the market 90 days or more, right? Like when it's already something going on, and like I had conversation yesterday. I made 3 calls from agents, and one of them actually we need to send an offer, and a creative offer. Another 2, one of them was like, oh my God, what you said, like it was music to my ear, because she didn't know about it, right? And the 3rd one, even though it was a flip, but like she wanted to hear more about what I do. And it's just 3 conversations, and it was all 3 went amazing. And it was 7:00 in the night. How I started, I told them, wow, thank you so much for taking my phone call. I know it's late. I didn't even realize the time, right? And they were immediately said, oh, no, that's okay, right? Like immediately, because how you open up, how you start the conversation is so important.
Robert, you and I need to do calls together one of these days. I swear, I am delightful, and I don't know.
Oh, no. You and Rachel need to hang out, Robert, because she cracks me up.
Rub off on my guy. Come on.
No, we're gonna rub Robert on Rachel.
There you go.
Okay, we're gonna rub it on there. No, Rachel is delightful, but I think that her military stand is so sweet. No, she is, but I think it's definitely, and that's experience too. And I think that when you're in it, like, definitely there is, but Florida market and North Carolina market, they're different.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We're really laid back down here. Most agents maybe have 1 or 2 jobs, and if they don't, they work at 8 and 9 o'clock at night. Like I don't know. Like last night I was on that Pace Morby not Pace. I was with Justin T and Prop AI, and they're like worried about calling people at 6:30 agents. I'm like, it's Florida. Like we don't stop until 10 sometimes because sometimes we're working for California buyers, right? So we're used to being up till 10 in the morning, but at night. Sorry.
Actually, that leads me to another question.
Yeah.
So you guys are doing fix and flips. What came with the pivot to wanting to do co-living? Like, was it impact? Is it like cash on cash return? Is it a little bit of column A and column B? Like what was, of all the things, right? The RV parks, the mobile home parks, whatever. There's a million ways to make money. What made you pick this?
It's a good question. I will say the impact, I think, is part of it. Obviously, we're an owners club, so we've been tasked to find our Mount Everest. And I heard a lot of, mine actually is surrounding RV parks and hospitality and wedding venues, those kinds of things, because that's also my background is photography, videography, and weddings. But Robert's was much more about making an impact on single moms. And I'll let him explain that here in a minute. And what I always heard, I was always trying to help be a good partner of like, this is what I'm hearing. This is what I know your skills are. Here's how I think you could make an impact and kind of shape your Mount Everest, which I think he's still working on. I think, and mine is too. It's always still evolving. But honestly, a lot of it was, I think it's big in our community, right? It's talked about a lot. It's being done a lot. So I think the resources for us to get started there and start to underwrite deals and start to ask for advice of people that had done this before us, like that's truly, I think what kind of carved our path that way too, and some advice from others that are doing it actively in the community and encouragement. But also we love collaboration, we love partnerships, and we found a couple of great partners who are like, oh, I could get on board with this. Like if we combine all of our skills, this is how we're going to move forward. And it's not come without its, just because we set our mind, we're like, we're going to do Orlando because I'm boots on the ground here, and we're going to do co-living. We've got lenders, we got fix and flippers, we've got developers. Like of the 4 of us that we're partnering together, we should be able to figure this out. And we've come a long way, since Monterey of talking about this, underwriting deals, seeing what works, what doesn't. And even though we haven't successfully done one yet, we've learned a ton, all 4 of us. We just got off that call of like an update of like, okay, where are we? We have a meetup, like a co-living meetup here in Orlando that we're hosting tomorrow. What's our progress? What's our path forward? So it's been good. It's not been without its pivots though as well. So
I know, but it's good. It's also a good financial decision as well. I think that there's a lot of people who are investing that we need our investors. We need the money. And I think there's a lot of your return on your investment, high, which is a perk, right? Isn't that something that you would say that's a perk? I mean, I am all for everything you said, like all about helping others, like every day of my life. But at the end of the day, money is what, and there is money being made in that. And I think that's going from.
I want to hear Robert's single mom story real quick. I don't want to forget it. And I'm so afraid I will.
I'm a wedding planner for 15 years and I'm a single mom, so go for it.
Don't say this. I'm going to get sidetracked.
I mean, I don't know. It was just kind of like, I don't know. I attract those ladies to me, like they came to me and I feel for them, right? Like they have no help, right? And then that's, I don't know how I can, and then co-living is kind of like, okay, how can I fit that in a single mom, kind of space, if they can bring a kid with them or something. Like, I haven't figured out the whole thing yet, but like, I'm kind of like moving that direction and trying to, and even help them, like agents, a lot of agents, single moms, and I have in locally too. I sat down with them and like, okay, and I bring the creative. It's like, oh my gosh, like we can do that. I said, yeah, this is how it works. This is like, they just want to know, right? Educate them in the same way. And I don't know, just care for them a lot more than, others. I don't know. It's kind of like, yeah, my wife was a single mom. So that's why maybe, kind of, but it's so many out there, right? And who's gonna help them, right? Like I don't know. It just I really.
Yeah, you could maybe make it like make it 2 bedrooms and then do like a bathroom divided, and then that way, like, because I mean, Liv and I lived in very small quarters for 10 years.
Another thing to look into, Robert, is getting with Justin Tumanowski and what he's doing with Microfamily. That might be where you need to go.
We've talked through that, and I think my wife, and Robert actually talked about this one day too, because she brought this up. She said, "What about divorced moms that have kids? They maybe now can't go afford a house. They've been used to living in a home. And what if, there's 4 bedrooms, so each mom's have a room and the kids have a room, and that's that almost co-living kind of thing where they still have a home that they can go live in. Maybe it's not a different, mom in each bedroom. But what if it's moms with kids and
it's temporary for them? It's giving them that next step. It's not something that they're going to do forever. Trust me, I understand that value that you're bringing. I mean, I've got to have my parents, right? If it wasn't for my parents, then Liv and I probably would have been home when she was 2. But at the end of the day, like, I think that you're going to make me cry. I think that's something that I haven't heard a lot in this community is the single moms, because like you said too, like divorces, like it get ugly and they don't have anywhere to go. I'm on board with that.
The other,
Robert, thank you.
The other thing, Robert and Trevor, that's just a build from that in a place. I've talked with you guys about divorce in North Carolina and having to be separated in North or South Carolina for a year. One thing that was hard for Michael is he couldn't afford a 2-bedroom. And so he could not have his boys overnight. And so a solution like that would even help single fathers who are going through divorces like that to be able to spend that time with their sons. So it's incredibly important to help single moms, but I think that would also be
parents in general.
Yeah. Right? I think that would just be a really cool way to help in North and South Carolina when you guys move here.
And the way we thought about it too was, and I like that you threw that in too. Yeah, I know. And with divorced parents, single parents with kids, because we have friends that are divorced, and our constant question is, would you have the kids this weekend? And when you don't, you almost have this kind of, and I'll be transparent. I'm married. I've never been divorced. So I'm not trying to put myself in someone else's shoes, but I also try and relate to those around me. And I feel like I'm really good with sensing how people feel. And, it can also be depressing. So I feel like having that other single parent, whether it's single mom, single dad, you have that now community aspect that we're all part of, that now maybe they need that outlet. They need that, their kids are both gone that weekend, but they still have somebody to lean on, somebody to talk to, somebody to, bounce ideas off of, where you used to have your partner. Now you've got another single mom or another single dad where it's like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Okay, well, the kids aren't home, but my kids are. Maybe that community aspect, I think, could be a really big thing.
Yes,
I love that.
Definitely. That's an interesting aspect of it.
I'm gonna, because of how you're bringing this stuff up, and we've got probably about 10 more minutes. I want to ask both of you, just because mindset and leadership is so big with both of you. What's one belief that you've had starting out in real estate that you've completely changed your mind on?
Just one?
There's so many, right?
Right?
Like, what, I only got 10 minutes?
I'm gonna let Robert go first for sure, because if not, I'll take
Of course, let me go first, right? I mean, of course, collaboration. That's like, it's. I never thought of it that way. It's like, oh, you can come, because I grew up in Hungary, right? Like, and it wasn't that. I would say like that was not a common thing. Like, do it together, right? It wasn't like no, you have to do it on your own, blah blah blah, and you can do this. You can it was like that. So this community, like when I joined SubTo, that was really actually kind of like got me in SubTo when I heard Pace first time, and he's creating this community. It's like, what? Like, what's going on with that? And then, because I did the flip by myself, I did 70, 80 hours a week, and it was like, it was lonely, and it's like struggle and things like nobody, and I want to share with people. Like, that's the thing too. Like, that's what we have common with Trevor. Like, we don't want to do it by ourselves, right? We want to do it together, and then so much more fun. That's why we're doing meetups, because it brings so much more, I don't know, like hands-on and things. It's just
get more creative when you're with around.
Right? Yeah. But like mindset, of course, is Pay said many times. 99% is mindset, right? Like it's mind blowing for sure.
I love
Go
that,
ahead,
Robert.
add more, Trevor.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I a lot of mine is the same. Honestly, I came from healthcare, so I'm a doctor of physical therapy for 11 years, and was treating patients. My whole day was built around other people's schedules, but also getting to interact. Like I was an engineer for a while. I was an engineer major. Let's put it that way. I loved it. I was great at science, great at math, but I was like, the thought of sitting in an office or being on a project and not interacting with people on a daily basis drove me right out of it. And I know there's engineers that, you know, are in offices or work on projects and still, you know, but I was also very obsessed with healthcare and helping other people. So when I thought of helping other people, I thought of the elderly, I thought of kids with developmental disorders, things like that. I felt neurological disorders. So that's the path I went. It was like, oh, healthcare, I have to help people. It's always how I've thought. But I was also getting to be around people, treating patients, getting to hear their story, tell them about my family, my kids. I made that relationship. And that's what made me a good physical therapist. Not because I was the best book knowledge or, you know, the best skills or whatever. It was because I could connect with people. And my outlook, I mean, I would still be in healthcare right now had it not been for Robert and I's relationship and how it worked. I picked up some real estate on the side to do some, you know, passive income, right? Get passive. Wasn't passive. Even, you know, I just created 2 jobs for myself.
Well,
Really like,
Come on.
remember, you are that photographer and videographer, and you do weddings, and you're a dad, and you're a husband.
Job, whatever, and that's fine. I like to be busy. I like to, you know, be busy, and I'm working on that. And not just being busy, but being efficient, being productive, and focusing on small things, smaller things. But ultimately, that was the biggest perception shift that I had when I got into real estate. Was I thought you were either a realtor or a real estate investor. And my perception of a real estate investor was somebody that just made a bunch of money, lowballed people, screwed people over, took advantage of people when they're in a bad situation, not go into a bad situation or people need help. It was all that mindset shift of I'm going in this to help someone, not to rob them blind. I'm selling speed, convenience, and like whatever's easiest for them to get on to the next stage of life. Here, Pace say it all the time of like, these sellers come to him now saying, I just want to be done. I want you to take over my house. You know, I just need a cash offer because I can't, you know, or they're going for foreclosure. The bank's about to take their house and they're not going to get any money. And at least it's a solution to save their credit, give them something to walk away with, start the next phase of their life. Sometimes he even finds them rental homes. I'm like,
give him
this
some
is a guy
time.
to get behind. And that's what my biggest mindset shift was like, I can still help people outside of healthcare. That's not my only, you know, my skill set is very versatile. And I found that here that, again, with a partner like Robert that does the same and has the same mindset, has the same beliefs, the same values, it's like, man, we're a heck of a team and we can do this together. And again, finding this community was just icing on top of the cake.
Can I ask? I have one more question. I'm so sorry, Kate. That just something that Trevor and Robert have
There are
said.
so many questions today. It's like, geez.
She already wrote them all down. She's trying to keep me on track.
This one's actually. I'm going.
Check mic. Check mic.
I'm going.
Mic check.
You're good.
Love it. Love it.
No, I hear the same theme from high achievers and entrepreneurs, and that's not being able to say no to things, right? Like feeling like I'm the one that can take care of this, even when we're on teams. Like we do this, and I think about what you're. I think about what I know. I'm working with her on this. I think about, you know, even with my own going to Everspace Camp, like I talk to people a lot about having to say no to things and postpone things in order to do that. And so my question to you guys, if you know, because you know you can't summit if you're running 5 other marathons, what are the things that you are focused on right now that people in this community can come to you to provide value to keep you on track?
Yes.
Good question.
Boom, that's what I do.
Something like it's hot.
I'll take this one first because I think I can be somewhat concise, and that's funny coming from me. Honestly, I think they can get.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think they can get transparency, but also, you openness that we don't know everything. We're learning day at a time, but we're putting ourselves in the right rooms around the right people that have those similar mindsets, that aren't like, oh, I'm on the summit, I'm on the peak, just look at me and follow what I did. No, we're the people that are on a lower peak, but they're reaching back down and be like, here, let me help you up. And I know we heard that from somebody in Monterey, and I loved that. I loved that reference and that analogy, because that's ultimately what we're set out to do. Is, again, I'm not going to tell you I have all the answers for fix and flip or for lending, which is what our Robert's main and I's main focuses are. But we're open to learning. We're open to partnering. We're open to sharing what we do know. We're open to also sharing what we don't know. I'm going to be transparent about it and not just like, oh, I know everything about it. Yeah, come follow me, give me your money, and I'm going to, know what to do with it. No, come learn with us. We're, this is what I know so far. This is where I'm in the dark. If you can help shed some light on that, I could help shed some light on what you don't know. And boom, we both move together, for the better.
So it sounds like, and then I want Robert to answer, it sounds like we already have your buy box for Orlando as well as Charlotte and just Central Florida. It sounds like if people have fix and flips or co-living in that area and they want to partner with you, that's the appropriate time to reach out.
Yes, 100%. Or not even just bringing us deals, or, hey, I have a question. I'm in the Atlanta market. I'm wanting to get into fix and flip, because we do that too. I've kind of forced this idea on Robert of like being a fix and flip concierge, of like, he has a ton of knowledge.
Yes.
And we're partnering with another Owners Club member in Savannah, Georgia, a market we knew nothing about. She knows the market. She needed our help with lending and fix and flip knowledge. So we partnered with her, and we're about to complete that project and list it on the market and make a great profit.
So I obviously, and I know Rachel, we're going to finish off, but this podcast was originally made so that the people that are newbies, that kind of went through the newbie stage, did all their paperwork, did all their stuff, and they're not kind of like, they're in that middle where they're not really sure where to turn. You just hit it on the dot. Look, guys, everyone out there that's watching this right now, these are the people that you're in this community with. Trevor and Robert, you call them. Don't be afraid to call these people. I mean, I made calls. I called people. That's how I'm friends with Justin T. And I made friends with the Pickles. And I just got on the phone with them and I said, I need help. Here's what I can bring to the table. Here's my value to you. I know I can help you here, but this is what I need help with. That's what this community is about. That's what this podcast is about. That is trying to get the people to become that OG that we can become in this community. Again, you're always going to want to learn. You're always going to want to JB, ask for help, and never, always hang out with people that are smarter than you. That's what my dad always said. But the idea of this podcast was originally to encourage folks that are in this community that are feeling kind of stuck, that we're just going through all this. Call people, get on the right calls, get on the right Zooms. The opportunity, if you want it, is out there.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that, it's okay to feel that way, right? Like, I've been through, and we still get stuck on things, so it's fine.
Sure.
But reach out. That's, I think, number one. What I think I missed like a lot when I joined SubTo. Yeah, I never reached out, like barely reached out to people, because I was scared. No, I don't know anything. Blah 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 blah. Whatever it is that the movie you make in your head, right? But reach out and put yourself out there. Social media, that's another huge thing. Just put it out there. Everybody has a uniqueness. Everybody has something to bring. Even if you don't know, like I had yesterday a conversation with she's a TC in Jersey. Yeah, Jersey. No, she's in Brooklyn actually. And she is so nice, so kind. And then it's like, she has no idea how powerful she is. But
right.
She doesn't make us post, like, no, I let my partner handle it. I said, okay, that's good. But what about you? Right? And I want people to come to us, not just about the deal. If just they need any help. I love talking with people. I love encourage them. This is us. Trevor and I really, really love that. Because whatever it is your situation in your life, I know we all need encouragement. And even just listen to them. I mean, I'm okay with that,
Thank you, Robert. That's cool. Thanks, Trevor.
Yeah, of course.
Do you want to ask the last question, Kate?
All right.
Oh boy.
So look, we at that point, huh? So, well, Robert, Trevor, thank you for joining us. You have been such an inspiration, not only to myself, Rachel, and I know that there's really big things for the four of us. I think we'll be doing something. Rachel's really excited about y'all moving to North Carolina.
You guys already doing big stuff. Jeez, like you're here. Come on.
Yeah.
This is what it makes the whole community. You bring everybody together. Like this platform, these kind of platforms.
Yeah, well, thank you. We appreciate
You guys
that.
already doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
shout out to all the ladies.
We're talking about making the money, honey.
Oh my God. Since Robert's now a part of the Baddie community,
yes,
you got to ask Robert and Trevor.
So, Robert,
Yes.
what does it mean to be an REI baddie?
What does that mean? Oh my God, I don't know. What does that mean?
Be a baddie. Like a baddie is like a real estate investor badass, basically.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you're supposed to know this is the only question you know an answer to.
I don't know. Like.
All right, well, we'll not start with you. We'll start with Trevor.
Go ahead, Trevor.
Trevor, what does it mean to be an REI baddie to you?
You know, when I first saw REI Baddie, I was like, man, I really wish they just said REI Badass, because Baddie to me, I don't know, it's one of those like cliche, but I love it. I actually love it that you guys
our seventh graders think it's cringe.
Of course.
Okay?
Of course.
So we both have seventh graders. So
of course. I think it's tough. And I was taught on Monday that tough in that same 7th grade lingo actually means cool. So just so you know, I didn't know that until Monday, but you learn new things. To be an REI baddie, I think is realizing that for us, especially, I think to fit our true form, it's never about the deal. It's bigger than yourself. You are bigger than, you know, this community is bigger than just you, but you are a very unique part of it that makes the community really what it is. It couldn't be the same without both of you, without Robert and I, without all the friends that we're making. But realizing it's not just solely about you and making $1 or making $1 million or 10 million, whatever. It's about so much more than that. It's about the people that we're helping. So I really, truly think the people that I look up to most in this community, like you've mentioned Justin T a few times, you know, he's somebody I look up to and been on the Get Creative podcast with him, of the impact that he makes up there. Rachel, who again I looked up to before we met at Squad Up, and then again in Monterey, and being like, oh, I want to partner with you. I'm like, I look up to you. You want to partner with me? Like those types of people get it. And to me, those are the types of people that I want to be around and that I want to do things with. Not just make money, but be friends, be partners, you know, be family with. So yeah, that's what it means to me.
All right, Robert, no pressure.
Yeah, right on. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean,
Because,
Trevor said it's not about, like Pace always said, is like, okay, yeah, like I don't care about the deal. What value did you bring to that seller or that agent? What was it? Tell me about that. Not actually the deal. And that's really like whoever you talk with, what like you need to make an impact, and that's our goal. Like we want to make an impact, and it's not about the transaction. I'm always about the relationship, right? Like transaction comes and goes, right? But relationship, I think so. That's like it's, I don't know who said that. Like, you know, we want to say hi, but we want to say like hello again, right? Like something like that. I don't know how it goes. So we want to keep coming back. I'm always telling agents, like, yeah, we did this deal, but how can we make more of this?
Yeah.
Right. Not just one deal.
I think what you crush with that, Robert, is, and it's particularly with you and Trevor's partnership, right? Because you guys are the first duo we've brought in. And it shows that when you simplify your focus, you can multiply your impact when you partner like this. And I freaking love it. I love you too. Anyway, I gotta say, guys, again, thank you so much again for coming on. Again, to folks out there in internet land, next week, Anne McNamara, the small town revitalization queen, will be here so that she can discuss with you something besides co-living and how she breathes life into entirely new communities.
No.
It's gonna crush
Thank you,
it.
ladies,
Thank
to
you so much.
inviting us. It was a really, really nice pleasure.
Real estate gets real.
I'm Rachel Davis.
And I'm Kate Baldwin.
I can never miss a Monday. Hey, hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Hey, hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Hey, hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Coach told me.